Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I'd like to start by recognizing some of my constituents who are in the audience. They are Iranian Americans who are staunchly opposed to the Iranian regime, who have shed light on Iran's nuclear program through the unveiling of information on different Iranian nuclear facilities. Many have relatives in Camp Ashraf, and I raised with Assistant Secretary of State Feltman a few weeks ago the need for the administration to ensure that the Iraqi government lives up to its human rights commitment and protects the residents of Camp Ashraf. Welcome.
In addition, I should note that our colleague, Congressman Filner of California, has a bill with over 106 co-sponsors to take the PMOI off the terrorism list, and I hope that respect for our 106-plus colleagues that have co-sponsored that bill would lead to a serious consideration of the bill and hearings on it. So we have much legislating to do, just as our friends from the administration have much to do as well.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank all of the Iranian Americans that are here in the audience today, concerned about a mutual concern that we all have, and that is Camp Ashraf and the delisting of the MEK as a foreign terrorist organization. I know the State Department and the Foreign Affairs Committee are supposed to work very close together. My question, Secretary Burns, is why has the State Department refused to brief the subcommittee chaired by Mr. Sherman on the delisting of the MEK?
Well, sir, we're in the midst of a review that was ordered by the court last summer, as I understand it, in which...
I guess my question is this. Will the State Department brief this committee and the subcommittee on information it has on the MEK and why the State Department relentlessly believes it should still be on the FTO list?
First thing is, my understanding...
No, just answer that, my question.
Sure. Yesterday afternoon, we provided an intelligence briefing, as I understand it. Second, I would be glad to take back your question and see if, in addition to the briefing we provided yesterday afternoon, there's more that we can provide at this stage. The only
briefing...
Will the gentleman yield? I would point out the State Department has refused to do a classified briefing at the request of our subcommittee for over a month, but did arrange for the classified briefing from the CIA, which couldn't address many of the questions, but did address some.
You're claiming my time. That's exactly my point. That briefing yesterday, which I attended, was not by the State Department. It was by the CIA. And those two agencies aren't the same. I'm just curious why the State Department, it appears to me, is so obstinate, even after going to court and the court ruling against the State Department, ordering them to provide information about the MEK in this lawsuit, information that is required to be delivered in January, which is next month, the way I figure it, and why Secretary Clinton in 2009 said that she would review the whole designation of the MEK in the next 2 years. That has not been done. The 2 years is up in January. I want to know what information the State Department has that is so relentless on your part that they should remain on this list. Do you know that information?
We are reviewing in response to what the court said and what Secretary Clinton said. One step in that review is to allow the MEK to have an opportunity to review the unclassified material which led to former Secretary Rice's decision in January of 2009. We've provided that to the MEK. We await their input, and then we will complete the review as we promised. And if there are other questions beyond the briefing that was conducted yesterday afternoon, as I said, sir, be glad to take that back and see if we can provide further answers in the meantime.
The situation in Camp Ashraf appears to me just to be getting worse, not better. People are very concerned about their relatives that live there. What is some hardline new procedures that we are taking as the United States to ensure the safety of those people in Camp Ashraf?
As Assistant Secretary Feltman said when he testified before you, we take very seriously the concerns that have been raised about inadequate availability of medical treatment and other kinds of activities at Camp Ashraf. There were 2 individuals in particular who had been raised in that hearing, and we made sure afterwards that they did have access to the cancer treatment that they needed. We, along with the UN mission in Iraq, meet regularly with the Iraqi government to hold them to their obligation to ensure that the basic human and individual rights of the residents of Ashraf are protected, and we will continue to do that.
In other words, our position is we're just encouraging the Iraqis to do the right thing. I mean, there's hardline evidence that we are really encouraging in a way, I guess a diplomatic way, that they protect the safety of the people in Camp Ashraf, other than talking about it.
We and the UN mission will continue to insist that the Iraqi government meet its obligation to ensure the human rights of the residents of Ashraf, and that's to say that they are not subject to forcible repatriation to a place that might persecute them. That's to say that they have access to the medical treatment that they need, and we will continue to push that hard.
I'd like to associate myself with the concerns of Congressman Poe in terms of the citizens of Camp Ashraf, and I think that it's disconcerting to understand that we have to play games with the government of Iraq after we have invested such a massive amount of treasure and blood. We need to hear from Iraq, from the government of Iraq, a solid commitment that they will not betray the people of Camp Ashraf to the mullah dictatorship. That would be a terrible sign for anyone opposing the mullah dictatorship in Iran. We would lose leverage, etc. So if you could pass that on, I would appreciate that.